Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Watchpoint Post-Show. We are live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles, California. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Puckett. I'm joined at the desk with the whole crew. We've got Zoe, we've got Bren, and back after casting an incredible finish to the Shanghai Dragons over the Hunters, we have Hexagrams.
Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun.
You tired yet, bud?
Nah.
You just got done screaming for 4 games.
Yeah, no, actually, like, I have energy after I cast.
I like it.
That was bonkers.
We're going to use all of it here on the post show. Don't worry. Well, one thing we always do on the post show is we start off by talking about what we learned today. So let's start with you. What'd you learn here on a Friday in the Overwatch League?
I think I learned that some things never change. New York Excelsior will forever be a juggernaut in this league. They look absolutely untouchable. So yeah, I like consistency. So I like that. Yeah.
New York staying strong. What about you, Bren?
I'm a big fan of Boston, to be honest. After their game, you know, I think they're looking pretty hot, to be honest.
All right.
I learned that Bumper is a bot, but he's our bot, and he's a lovable bot, and he will charge just to throw some disrespect on teams. It's great.
So when you say bot, do you feel he is not a skilled player or a smart player?
I think he is, but he's got bot moments, and it's wonderful. The crowd loves a bot. I'm for it.
We need him in our lobby to carry us after the show. Bumper, join your Zarya. All right, so let's get into the action here. Starting with the game we just finished, the Shanghai Dragons came into today looking for their first ever winning streak. That means more than one match in a row. They got their first one last week. This time, they're going up against the 7th place Chengdu Hunters. Big plays in this one, but at the end, it was a 4-0 score in favor of the Dragons.
When Chengdu loses, they lose to 0-4. So, I mean, it's when things aren't together for them, they're really not together. That's kind of their MO. And it was just baffling to me that they just could not have the patience to wait to set up some of these ultimates. You're going to see barrages where EMP is at 96%, and it happened over and over again.
I think we're now starting to see a scenario with Chengdu where they're starting to find that they're being exploited because people know what they're going to be running on a regular basis.
This was my favorite moment.
Starting to
Just
become
all
a bit
take
of an
a
issue
moment.
for them.
But this was the craziest because Chengdu came out, they put up, what, 6:37 still on the clock for additional rounds?
Yeah, they had the fastest ever attack round on Volskaya, and that includes our first season, so that's actually quite a feat. So I don't even know how they managed to not win that.
Do you remember what happened there? The EMP'd and then barraged. Wow, what a novel concept.
I do want to
No
give
one saw it
props, though,
coming.
to the Shanghai Dragons. When the New York Excel and Vancouver played, after winning 3 games, it seemed they took their foot off the gas pedal. Shanghai, they went for it all the way here in Game 4 on Dorado.
Throttle. Well, it's because they're not used to winning yet, mate, you know? So they're just still playing to win all the time. That's the case, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I'm actually very pleased with the progress of Shanghai Dragons. I think, you know, a lot of analysts, myself included, put them pretty high in terms of our ranking systems for this year. This squad looks very strong on paper. They're now starting to get the points under their belt. So kudos to them.
They had a tough week 1 schedule since then. They've had 2 wins in their last 2 matches. Impressive stuff. But it's time to crown our player of the match, presented by Omen by HP. Who's it going to be for the Dragons today? Our player of the match is Ding, the Sombra and Diva player for this squad.
Ding was a better Sombra. He was the best Sombra on the field. Elsa had some moments where I was confused on what he was shooting at, why he wasn't shooting at anything. But Ding was all over the place. His hacks were great. The EMPs were clutch for his team. He's a phenomenal Sombra player.
Yeah, and I mean, this carries on as well from what we talked about at the halftime as well. I mean, Ding was pretty much the entire reason why they managed to get such a good lead against Chengdu Hunters. I think a good Sombra play is necessary when you're playing against Chengdu these days. Teams are realizing it. Shanghai realized it. They capitalized off of it.
Here, a look at the numbers. So what are some of the big ones that jump out to you? At the half, he had just 30 enemies hacked.
What is that?
So the fact that he only had 4 deaths is actually insanity to me, because a lot of those team fights did look like a bit of a brawl. So he managed to get away in every possible scenario. It's quite impressive.
1 death per map.
Yeah.
Well, Chengdu doesn't run anything to stop a Sombra.
That's
They
also
don't really
true.
have the CC. The only way you're going to make him die is if he gets caught out accidentally or you hack the Sombra on the other side. So being immortal is very helpful as a Sombra player.
And it only happened 4 times. 4 deaths that entire time for our player of the match. Once again, that is Ding, our player of the match, presented by Omen by HP. As our Stage 1 playoff picture begins to take shape, the defending champion London Spitfire look to separate themselves from a crowded field in the middle of the pack. When we saw the matchup against the Gladiators, I thought this was going to be the match of the day. How did you guys feel as you watched this one play out?
I was pretty impressed with London as well, actually. They've just been steadily improving. I predicted the LA Gladiators for this one because I felt like they would have an edge over the London Spitfire. London, you know, like I said in the pre-show today, they've looked inconsistent. They looked shaky, but they're continuing their momentum now, and they seem to have, you know, sort of fixed up a lot of their issues that they were facing earlier in the 2019 season. So I'm excited. I think London are now finally showing that they are a top team. It's good. You know, we now have another challenger to sort of compete with New York Excelsior, you know, Vancouver Titans and other top teams. So it's nice.
Not really surprised they started slow. If you think about it, they won the championship last year, and then they hired a new coach in September. So it was going to be a matter of trying to get used to new coaching, or perhaps that you'd have to just assume that they're not going to be the exact same team they were last year. It's a new structure. So I think that London is just going to get stronger going forward. They've made the right substitutions as well.
So are you worried at all for the Gladiators after watching them struggle again? They had a weak opening against Seoul and now a big loss to the London Spitfire.
No, I wouldn't say I'm actually worried for them. This was the first time they had Decay in the game. It was his debut. They have to get used to him again. Or rather, the rest of the team has to get used to him, since Roar already is very familiar with this young man.
Yep.
I don't think they played terrible, really. I do think that at the beginning, first half of this matchup, it was actually fairly close, and they had a lot of good moments. I think it was just the communication and the cohesion was not quite there.
And this was a tie series. Remember that map 2 was a draw. So this was for the entire match, game 4 on Dorado. What put the Spitfire over the top?
Yeah, generally speaking, it was Guard on the Sombra. It's this kind of specialty pick that they came out with that really won them that round in particular and won them the map in the series.
Right.
Guard has been such a fantastic addition to the London squad.
Well, you can tell he's their Sombra too, because then you have guys like Fury's on Zarya there, Prophet Muso de Brigida, and we're watching and I'm like, oh, it's because they need Guard on Sombra.
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for the Spitfire fans is, well, we know that London is in control of their destiny. They're on pace right now to make it into the Stage 1 playoffs, where they only have 2 more matches. But you think if you get 2 more wins, that's 5. That should be good enough to put you into our top 8. As for the Gladiators, so far the fan favorite Short4 has been a staple in the starting lineup, going all the way back to watching them in 2018. Today that definitely changed. We touched on it. Decay, turning 18 just 2 days ago, used today in his match, and Do we expect this guy to be in the starting 6 moving forward?
Yeah, I would assume we see a lot more of DK, at least in this meta, at least for the rest of the stage. This is kind of what I see coming. Again, Chauffeur is a fantastic player. However, that Zarya, which the team just really, really needs, is not in his hands, the best Zarya we've ever seen. Yeah, I do think that they potentially have to bench him for some time, which is, I think, going to upset a lot of fans.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, he's one of the most popular players. I personally like him a lot because he watches a lot of anime. I think Hex is probably a bit disgusting.
That's the same reason why Hex loves him so much.
That's why I like Mr. Lane Roberts. But I think, honestly, looking at his stats, yeah, it's not his metagame. You find that that's the case with a lot of players right now. Birdering, fantastic player, as we know from the 2018 season. He's not going to be seeing much playtime for the London squad now as well. So a lot of teams are going through the motions now where they're finding the best fits for a lot of their squads. And Chauffeur has proven that he can pick up a hero and get good at it.
It's going to bother the fans. It's not going to bother Lane. Lane's not the type of guy who's going to be a problem. He's going to demand playing time. They're definitely a team player. One of the chillest people I've ever met. It's animated aside.
He's a top bloke.
That's why I really like Chauffeur. But I think just to the naked eye, you can see why Decay was so sought after by everybody. Zarya looked really good, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So even when the meta shifts, I expect Decay to be playing.
Speaking of that, that's kind of where we're going next. After this stage, maybe we'll see a new hero. We don't know when Batiste is going to be in play in the Overwatch League, but Zoe, knowing the versatility of what Decay has shown us over in Korean contenders and what Chauffeur has shown us here on the Overwatch League stage, who do you think we'll be seeing when it comes to like stage 3, stage 4? Could both players be in the lineup at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, this really just depends on where the meta is taking us at that point. I think that they still have their aces up in their sleeves where there is a world where we would potentially see both of them on the more specialized hero. Then again, Chauffeur doesn't really want to specialize. He does want to play literally everything available.
And I want to see him play everything.
Yeah, me too, kind of. But, you know, I don't rule it out. I do think that there is a world in which we have both players in.
One thing we learned today, Gladiators definitely have another piece to their arsenal now with Decay being eligible at the age of 18. Coming up, we'll see if our 2 undefeated teams were able to remain perfect. This is the Watchpoint Post Show. We'll be right back. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. Earlier today, the undefeated Vancouver Titans matched up against the winless Los Angeles Valiant. We all came in thinking that LA may be able to take a map or two, but the Vancouver Titans are definitely the team to beat, and the Titans came out strong here on Nepal. They basically shut out LA here in this sanctum.
Yep, they're certified boss men in my book now, Puckett. I think that they are honestly the favorites to be winning stage 1. They are absolutely merciless, except when they win out the series and it goes to map 4, in which case Bumper just starts feeding his brains out, and he just has a wild
But
night.
it is so entertaining. However, on that Nepal on Shrine. Valiant at one point was actually up 3 players, and Titans still managed to actually win the team
Yeah,
fight.
that one hurt.
Yeah.
What is going on?
You mentioned that we all thought they were going to take a map. I disagree. I didn't think they were going to take a map at all. The Valiant have major malfunctions
I'd say we
going
all,
on.
because I meant everyone in the venue. There's a lot of green. There's a lot
They've
of
got
hope.
Malfuck.
It all got crushed.
You know?
Don't have to pander to the non-existent crowd here. Look, I called Bumper a pop, but I mean that in the nicest way. I love this stupid aggression that he plays
so
with.
fun, isn't it?
That picture of him in reaction and like how his expression is so different than Slime's, because Slime's got a babysit the whole time. Also, Slime is one of the only Lucius I've ever seen in Korean contenders just straight up carry maps for his team. Just win maps alone for his team. Like, they have a ridiculous talent on every level of this squad.
People are arguing, is Twilight the best Zenyatta in the league? Is Slime the best Lucio in the league? Guys, where do you think the support line stands? We always talk about the tanks here for Vancouver.
It's pretty high up there, but I mean, Jonak does still exist. There's just different styles of Zen, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say the best Zen.
Now, for the last game here, we got to talk about the Valiant's win. Yes, you took a map. It looked like the Titans took their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But did you learn anything that could give Valiant a little bit of hope?
That should tell you everything about this game. Bummer's taunting on the cart, man. He's taunting on the cart. Disrespect. Full on. I love to see it, honestly. I love to see it. Not if you're a Valiant fan, obviously, but he just does not care, you know? He's giving him the tactical crouch, the whole business.
So how many matches in a row can he... Look at this! Can he pull someone into the environment and kill himself? Because that's twice now. He did it on Volskaya last time they played.
He's a very carefree.
Just take people for rides, man.
Yeah, but a lot of rides will
Stay on the
stop
map.
and push the other person off. Bumper's just ready to go into the drink.
Well, as we take a look at the Pacific Division, I think it's safe to say that the Titans have been in a class of their own. But over on the opposite coast, we have the New York Excel, who also look to remain perfect in their matchup today. They were going up against another opponent that we wouldn't say is definitely in the top tier. But what did you guys think when they matched up against the Toronto Defiant, who finally had Neko back in the mix?
I actually was impressed with Toronto Defiant. I did, of course, not expect them to do too much against NYXL. However, I do think that they, at least in the first half of the game, held their own. I think they had a lot of great performances. Neko actually did show up and did what I thought he would be doing, which is leading that team. Roki had a lot of good moments on his Lucio, which actually surprised me because I thought they would have played with 8 in there rather than Roki. So yeah, it was great to see
And
that.
talking with the Toronto Defiant, I think we should expect to see Aid next week, but they felt more comfortable running Roki because he had been the guy the previous 3 matches. But once you get your full support line, do you think Toronto is able to compete with New York XL, or are these still in 2 very different tiers?
Well, it's always difficult. There's caveats when a team plays against NYXL. It's, do they play them close? Do they look like they can possibly win a fight? I thought Envy had a really good game, too. I think the veteran leadership of Toronto will keep them in the running for a lot of these playoff spots, but it's NYXL. You're just not going to beat them. You're just not.
Yeah, NYXL just seem to be, again, they're in this different tier along with Vancouver Titans. There might be a couple of other teams that I'd add up there, but you know, I have to wait, I think.
This is Sabiobi, by the way, Bren. You know that guy who was famous last year for being amazing? He finally got to play.
He also has fantastic hair, believe it or not, Puckett.
I do believe it.
Haircuts are always
He
fantastic.
doesn't have that mid card anymore.
Does he
Yeah,
not?
no, I don't think he does. Ark and Sebiobi got to play in the last map. Was the map they lost? Just
So he's spitting facts. Just take them however you want them. They're there.
If you're the
I'm
NYXL,
being
it's
factual.
never too early to sandbag. They don't care about map differential. They're undefeated, and they still have a ridiculous
They're
map differential.
at the top of the leaderboard. No worries when it comes to the tiebreakers. Some big bombs throughout that one. Nene showing off his sniper was my highlight. That was in game number 1. But now that we are done with day 2 here in week 3, it means we're officially halfway. And if we look at the standings, things are getting really murky in the middle. Remember, here in 2019, we're going to have 8 teams playing in the stage playoffs. You got to be in the top 8 to get an invite. And currently, we have 8 teams tied with 2 wins. We got the Charge and Shock, who are tied for 7th, and then you can see all the way down to that 15th spot with the Spark, all 2-win squads. So with that said, I want to get some predictions here, and we're going to go down the line and ask you, who has the best chance of actually advancing to those playoffs? I want to start with you, Hex. Which 2-win team is moving on?
You guys have the right idea. Like, I have to give an actual answer. Yeah, that's a noise no human should make. The Charge, because I still love Happy. I think Rio's really good, and the Shoo Shoo train is not stopping. I think they pull it together. I think they have a good 3-3, then something else, which I like. Also, Happy's just my boy.
Guangzhou Charge. Happy's going to make it happen. All right, Bren?
Reasonable. For me personally, I think it's going to be Boston who's going to be shooting up the rankings now. After we saw them the other day, they look on fire, to be honest. Now that they got this entire squad together, they look really quite comfortable in this meta. So I'm expecting big things from Boston. I've got high hopes for them. They were my favorite team to watch in Stage 3 last year because they were clean, they were surgical. I'm hoping that they can do it again.
All right, Zoe, last but not least.
I have to tell you, I have some trust issues here because there's so many teams in this league. They can win against the best and then they lose against the worst. And I'm not quite sure what to make of it. So, you know, I'm just going to put all the names in a hat.
Who hurt you, Zoe?
Everyone hurt me.
Shake it up before
Yeah, you sure?
Okay, well,
you just go.
Okay.
Do this.
You're doing great, guys. As a team, you're doing great.
This is the level of
It's a very important pick
Nothing
because
is-
it's coming
no,
true.
no,
Brent,
no,
put
no,
it back
no,
in.
don't
That's
look at
two
that. Put them in.
teams.
Only
Sorry,
you could
sorry.
screw up picking a name out of a hat. Come on, dude.
Okay, go.
All right.
What we got?
Sorry, producers. We're 30 seconds over this segment.
Hunters, I knew it all
Hunters.
along. I'm with them. We got this. That was actually the one I wouldn't have picked out of all of them. But I guess the hat has spoken, so yeah.
Yeah, probably
I'll
should
roll
have
with it.
gone with the San Francisco Shock, but maybe we'll see a wrecking ball in the playoffs. Anything could happen. Coming up, we've got our most favorite moments of the day. It's the top moments of the day. Don't go anywhere. This is the Watchpoint Post Show.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Did you miss us? We're back. It's more Watchpoint Post Show, and it's time for something I look forward to every day. It's our top moments of Friday. Kicking things off at number 5. It's our very own insider, Crouching Panda, aka Hidden Emily.
That was so cute.
I like it.
This is normally
I love
Brent's
it.
move. Like,
Yeah,
find some kind of bush.
She
hide
pulls
in
it off way better than you. When
What
you
are
do
you-
it, it's creepy. That was
What are you
cute.
trying to imply?
Bread popping out of the bushes. Yes, I agree.
She actually paid for that hat. All right, at number 4, we got Roar with the
Fuck it.
surprise flank shatter.
This
This,
was fun.
this isn't bot worthy.
Well, it's kind of bot worthy because, like, you know,
You say that because it works.
yeah, yeah.
See? It's perfect.
chance
Try it in your
that-
ranked games tonight. Don't help
You
your
know,
team.
You
Hide
should
behind.
definitely do this in your diamond, platinum, and gold games.
I like Roar a lot. I think he's going to get much better at Reinhardt with Decay on the squad.
Looking forward to seeing him for the Gladiators. They definitely need him. At number 3, I asked
Look
for
at
this
Matt.
one to be sped up only
Look
by
at Matt.
0.2%.
Here.
Oh, Matt Morello is my spirit animal.
Look at this.
Look at this. I was watching this live, and I was like, is anyone seeing how fast Mitch is moving right now?
Or how
This was
slow
the rap god
Matt-
after the team fight was over.
Mitch just needs to jump in, bro. You know? Oh man, I should say. Look at him. He looks lost.
Oh,
Someone
that
give
is-
Matt a quarter of
that
Mitch's
defines them.
energy.
Did someone
Here
lose a child?
at number 2, it's Janu, and, well, we've seen this quite a bit, haven't we?
Oh, man.
Is it still fun
I mean,
Yes.
maybe.
I don't think they
It's
get old.
You know, maybe we might need next week, we're dropping this down to number 5, possibly.
Yeah, only a 5K with that one, Janu. Weak stocks. And here at number 1, your best moment of the day. Well, I think it's the fact they went on to lose this. They got a 5K with a barrage in a
Yeah.
meta where we don't see Pharah.
No umbrella can save
So,
you from so much
Funny
dust.
enough, it's actually bad to kill them all at the same time because it means they are all going to respawn at the same
Believe it or
time.
not,
Oh,
Brent,
okay,
they
you're
did
calling
not
him
get
after
there in
that.
time. It was over at 6:37 left on the clock. As we take a look at our
You just said
overall
numbers.
cheer bits leaderboard, we want to give a shout out
What did you
to
just
everyone
say?
who's been cheering on the teams. Brent, we'll go back over it in the bottom view session. Shanghai Dragons, top 8 right now. London's in the top 10. Atlanta holds down the number 1 spot because of Defiant and all of his fans. Let's keep it moving, though, to show you who's been contributing the most. Number TV still in that number 1 spot with 135,000 bits. Wow. We got Bionics at the number 9 spot.
You're not going to say
Brace
that tough name
Driver
again?
at number 8. And a big shout out
He's
to
going
number
for it.
7 today. It's DJ CO James Go. There we have it.
Nice.
Keep those donations coming, but don't go anywhere. We got plenty more. It's the Watchpoint Post Show. Time to take a look at the matchups we have in store for you starting on Saturday. It's Paris and Atlanta to kick things off. A little bit later, we got the Southern battle going down with Florida and Houston. The Shock will take on the winless Justice, and the Shanghai Dragons look for a big win number 3 against the Dallas Fuel. So, Zoe, let's start with you. What are you looking forward to most here as we kick off a Saturday of Overwatch League?
I think for me, it's the first game of the day. I want to see Atlanta going up against the Paris Eternal. 2 of the teams I usually pick. I'm very conflicted. I have to sleep a night on this to actually make a pick for the predictions tomorrow. But I think this is going to be a great game.
Brent, before you answer, reminder, Boston is not playing
Yep,
tomorrow.
Boston's
What are you looking
tomorrow.
forward to tomorrow, Brent?
Not going to pick Boston because they're not playing tomorrow. Got that in my mind. Right, got it. The next, I think I'm looking forward to Shanghai Dragons Dallas personally because these are 2 teams. Shanghai are starting to improve. Dallas are kind of looking a little bit all over the
Is
place.
that good or bad?
What? Who knows? You know, it's up to interpretation. Don't want to upset the Dallas Fuel fans. There's a lot of them on Twitter. But, you know, I'm looking forward to it because this is going to be a good showing now for Dallas. If they can beat Shanghai, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, in the previous matchups, obviously, Shanghai have not beaten Dallas, obviously, because they were 0-40. But
Or any other
yeah,
team.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hard
It's gonna be
facts
it's
from
going to be a
Brad.
good match.
I like
good
this.
statistics. Captain Planet, Stats Guy, I'm coming for you.
I'm actually looking forward to the
Thanks,
same
man.
match for a completely different reason. Is because there's always a post on Reddit about the Dallas Fuel written in like a language I can't understand. I don't know. It was like Dallas burn blue, we burn blue fire fuel. Like it's just like, it's all over the place. And I swear to God, it's some sort of cryptography I have
Bro,
to crack.
Dallas fans,
So the
man.
more clues I get in the Zodiac like case, the more appreciative I am because I have no idea what's going on.
Can I ask a follow-up real quick to all 3 of you?
Sure.
Who has the better chance of making it in the playoffs, Fuel or Shanghai Dragons?
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Shanghai! No!
3 Shanghais and a high-pitched Brent. I feel like that's going to be enough from us today. Don't forget, we got a Q&A coming up. We got Lei Young from the Chengdu Hunters. We'll be joining Emily Tang. Of course, you need your Overwatch League All Access Pass to watch that. It's only on Twitch. Thanks for watching. Malik will be here. We'll check you out tomorrow.